This is actually very similar to the last question in this exercise that I've put together here. We have a colon. Oop, running away from me, this question. We have a colon, and colons have very strict rules in the SAT. We need to use a sentence beforehand, then we have the colon, then we can have a lot of different things after. We could have another sentence, we could have one word, we could have a list, but the first part needs to be a complete sentence. So let's test that out. Let's listen. The arrangement of the figures according to Swenzel. Can you stop there? No, right? We haven't said what the arrangement of the figures does. There's no verb. So this is not a complete sentence. And I'll say the same thing I said in the previous video, question 5. The colon and the single dash are basically the same thing. So if the colon doesn't work, the single dash won't work either. If we had 2 dashes, maybe there's a chance that we could save it, but not in this case. So D is going to be eliminated as well. And now we're just deciding, is there a pause here? Is there a break? Is there some sort of interruption to this sentence? Why would we need a comma? Let's read it. The arrangement of the figures, according to Swenzel, represents her idea that we all come from the earth generation after generation. Yes, we do need a comma here. The reason is that the main sentence is interrupted by a phrase, right? So the main sentence is this. The arrangement of the figures represents her idea that blah, blah, blah. So I'll highlight it. So the according to Swenzel piece is an interruption, and this is where commas are doing their most fundamental thing. We are using a comma on either side of this interruption to show where the interruption begins and where the interruption ends. This is basic punctuation here, guys. Anytime you use a punctuation mark, something's happening at that spot. Some break in the sentence is happening, and that is why that punctuation mark exists. Commas are where we insert extra clauses into the middle of sentences or attach extra clauses to either end of a sentence. So here we're interrupting the sentence with 2 commas, and just like that, we get pit choice B. So you've got to know the rules. A lot of you probably would have felt more instinctively that a comma goes there, but it's really helpful to know the rules for the commas as well as the rules for semicolons, semicolons too, colons, dashes, semicolons, the whole works, because those are punctuation marks we are not as familiar with, we don't have as strong of instincts for, but those are choices that we always want to check early on because the rules for those advanced punctuation marks are much more straightforward and much more rigid. So we have a better chance of eliminating them or proving them right and picking them.